You wouldn't take your hammer and just hammer everything. You would take your hammer out when you need it, use it, and then put it back in your pocket. It's 11:24 a.m. right now on December. Yeah, we're at December now. It's December 1st, 2018, and I am trying to embrace perfection. My room, I'm looking over at, like, I usually like to record when it's like relatively clean because it allows my brain to focus more because there's less distractions in the background. That's just a good productivity tip on the side. If you're trying to really focus, don't have cluttered shit everywhere, because it is taking away your brain. And this is an absolute fucking, it's stuff's everywhere. There's pillows everywhere, fucking wires going all over the place. There's stuff on my desk, which I almost never have when I'm recording. So I'm just trying to embrace imperfection right now. And just wanted to talk about the fact that I haven't went on my phone in 5 days. So the last time I went on my phone was Monday night, and it's Saturday right now. And you're probably like, wait, you're using your phone to record this? Like, what do you mean you haven't been on your phone? Which is accurate. I have been on my phone. I just haven't been on social media or texting. I have used email, but I literally just don't use email at all. I just use it for work shit, and I had like one work email, and then I like neglected to use it. Aside from that, I did, the closest I got to using anything close to social media, if you will, was going on YouTube and watching a few videos, and I felt a little bit of regret after that because it kind of felt like cheating. But at the same time, aside from that, that was really it. No Twitter, no Instagram, no texting, no Facebook, etc. And I'm feeling good. Like, I've really enjoyed this break from the world, if you will. It felt like I was in my own little world this entire time. It was really cool. It's like things slow down massively. The amount of time you save is crazy. Your brain isn't so hijacked. Much more peaceful, much more present, much more within myself, less of that, like, what do you call it? Almost like looking for that dopamine rush of social media and texting and all that jazz. It's here's the thing. I love my phone. I love social media. It is such a phenomenal tool if it's a tool. The problem is when it becomes more than a tool. I'm paraphrasing this, but I think it was Kanye that said something along the lines of, think of your phone as a hammer. You wouldn't take your phone, or you wouldn't take your hammer and just hammer everything. You would take your hammer out when you need it, use it, and then put it back in your pocket. I think people forget that it's a tool, and they end up just treating it like this thing that they're constantly using, constantly in their hands, forgetting that it's not an all the time thing. And if it becomes all the time thing, it loses its, I don't even want to say loses, but it just becomes a totally different phenomenon. And I'd like to treat it as a hammer and take it out when I need it, rather than just fucking using it all the time and becoming obsessed like most people are in that purposeless manner, which is no fun. So I'm feeling good. I'm not gonna lie, I have had some cravings here and there where, like, especially on day 2, I think it was, I was like, fuck, like, I really feel like texting people and talking to people. And that's like the best part about social media, is the actual social aspect of it. That's the only reason I actually feel like any desire right now to check my phone, is just because I feel like communicating with people. I haven't really communicated with many people, obviously, because the phone is the key way I am communicating with people. So in the past 5 days, it's been quite silent. And in addition to that, it's like I've had a lot of time to reflect and ponder and just like when I'm in my own world, it's very like, I've just been very insular, and it felt and continues to feel very fucking good. It allows me to, like, it showed me certain patterns within myself. Man, there's just been it's just been cool to observe myself and watch how I am without a phone, how I am compared to with a phone, and what the changes are, all that jazz. Probably the biggest thing though is like the focus and the saving time aspect. That's what I've appreciated most about this. In the past 5 days, I've been really working on something called NimSam Tracker, and this is like a web app for whatever. It's just like an internal tool Mom and I will be using for our venture, and to track energy sessions, if you will. And that's what I've been just focused on a lot, and just like really working at that, and to like punt my phone and just really get a lot of progress done on that in the past 5 days has been super fucking helpful. And like going forward, I do want to implement less phone time, because this has been super fucking helpful. Like instead of the phone, actually I'll come back to that. But yeah, so, and you might be also thinking like, if you were to do something like this, it might seem like a lot to do 5 days if you're totally addicted to your phone. And I challenge you to just do 1 day at a time if you were ever to do like a no phone day. And even if that seems too big, try like a morning without phone and see how that goes. Because if you can't do a morning without phone, that's problematic, and you should definitely try and make that happen, because that's fucking step one right there. But if you can't do a morning, do a fucking morning. You can do a morning. And if you can't do a day, do a morning. And if you can't do more than 1 day, start with 1 day and then just go one piece at a time. That's how originally I just wanted to start with 1 day. And then I was like, at the end of 1 day, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do some more because I need to continue focusing. And did 2 days. I'm like, yeah, let's do 3 or 4. And then yesterday I was planning on checking my phone, but I was just so mentally exhausted because I was sleep deprived, because I was resetting my sleep schedule. So I stayed up for like 36 hours or close to that, with only like 2.5 hours in between. So I needed to make myself pass out last night. So at 9 p.m. or whatever, I went to bed, which is unheard of because I usually go to bed at like 2, 3, 4 type of thing. So that felt good. But yeah, you gotta go 1 day at a time. It makes it happen. And it was just like really cleansing to just step away from everything temporarily. And yeah, just a nice little breather, if you will, from the social norms. And at the same time, my brain's like, I have to get back. For one, I had to make sure people don't know that I'm not dead. But like, there's ways of figuring out I'm not dead. For example, if you're close with me, like, you might know where I have my journal located. So you can check the public entries and see if I'm publicly entering there. You can also check my MyFitnessPal if you're able to. I don't know if the link is public or whatever, but if I'm updating my MyFitnessPal, I'm alive. Because that's like, those two things right there are pretty safe to say that I'll be always updating. So that's a way of checking if I'm alive. But as for like content creation, it's weird like not posting. Like, I'm obsessive with posting on my story just for keeping the habit of creating content always. And not posting on my story in 5 days is the weirdest thing. Like, dues paid was not a thing on Wednesday or Friday. So now I have to like backdate it and post and be like, yo, dues paid pics from the other day because I was fucking out. Yeah, man, it's just interesting how like habitual we are. And we don't really think about the phone in this aspect, and it's such a phenomenal tool, but people treat it like an obsession, and they forget that it's just a tool, like I was talking about it earlier. And it's that's when it becomes problematic. It's an incredible fucking thing. I love my phone so damn much, and if I do not have control and the phone has control of me, it becomes a less than ideal thing, for sure. What else can I say? Yes, this was interesting. When hard things happen, I noticed I have a definitely tendency. What am I saying? When hard things happen, I have a tendency to almost like want to check my phone to avoid the hard thing. Even something as simple as like my laptop freezing, which happens quite a bit because my laptop is fucking garbage right now. And in those situations, I will find myself wanting to check my phone. And that can lead down a completely different rabbit hole. I can lose my focus completely. I mean, the interruption of the not responding or freezing or whatever is obviously an interruption in itself. But going on my phone can just take up so much time if I'm hitting the wrong thing. It can leave me in a completely different mental state. It can negatively affect me. It could positively affect me. But whatever it is, the odds are the state is going to be changed. My internal state, my emotion, my thought, whatever. Something is going to change. And that can be good, but it also can be risky if things are going really well. So you just got to be careful with that. The phone really does hijack your mind. I mean, I love, and I think I've said this 3 times already, I love my phone so much. And at the same time, I'm obsessive with not checking it, for example, for the first 4 hours of every day, because I respect my mornings too much. I respect my time too much. And I have to make that time for me, or else I'm making it for others. And what the fuck? You have to put yourself first. That's so key. However that manifests for yourself, but if you care about your vision, if you care about your goals, avoid the phone for a bit. Like, make time for yourself. And by the way, in all this aspect, this is a key thing that I forgot to talk about, which is creating versus consuming. I think creating on social media is a completely different thing than consuming. Consuming is cool and you learn a lot and you can catch up or almost like learn about people's lives and stuff like that. But there is something with creating that is a completely different energy. I am raised up, if you will. I feel good when I'm creating content for social media. When I am consuming content for social media, it is a very different thing. I almost like can start to feel, it's not necessarily you feel bad, but you have a much higher chance of feeling bad. You might start comparing yourself to them. You could be happy for them, but if you start comparing yourself to their happiness, and then, well, how do you even know if it's real happiness? And like, this is a completely different side topic, but the act of creating is actually like empowering. You're leaving with something that was not there before. You are documenting your journey. You are inspiring other people. When you're like consuming, it's just, this is a very shitty explanation for it all, but creating is just so much better than consuming. It's not even debatable, quite frankly. But yeah, I think I'm rambling at this point, but I've just really enjoyed my 5 days with no phone, and would love to hear if you guys have anything to do, or if you have any interest in doing this yourselves, or what you do if you boycott your phone at all. Any thoughts? I'm curious to see what your phone consuming patterns or creating patterns are. And if I do this in the future, I'm considering just having a creating only rule and no consuming, meaning no taking in of messages for maybe a few days or whatever, but only pushing out messages if it's work or on my story or like posting to social or whatever, because it's a completely different thing and it feels aligned with my vision rather than just fucking procrastinating, quite frankly. And yeah, again, love the phone so much. It is such a good thing, but just remember to keep it as a tool and not an obsession, and keep yourself in control of it rather than the phone running your life. Anyways, I hope you found value from this. If you did, please do me a favor, share it with one friend. If you could comment, follow my journey, subscribe to embark upon the journey with me. And yeah, my name is Josh Moxey, and I will catch you later.